Congrats. All right, all right, all right. Hey, everyone. My name is Kendall Matthews, and we have, a good friend of mine, Steve Cantrell. And one of the things about Steve, and you'll know about this in a second, is that he loves airplanes. So my man loves a lot of airplanes. Just a little bit, huh? I see the background you got there, man. What's up with that?
That is, get out of the way so you can say it.
Yeah.
That is an F-15 Eagle with a
Nice.
Cloud Eagle beside it.
Nice.
And I don't know whether your viewers are going to be able to see it, but just below the Eagle's name, or the Eagle picture, is a name.
No.
And that says Cantrell.
Oh, there it is. Oh, you made that.
I did not. That was a birthday present by my mother, from my mother.
Awesome. That's fantastic.
And there's another one around here that's the Blue Angels that I can't show you, that it's behind the screens here. But
no worries at all. No, thank you, man, for taking time out of your busy schedule. And, I just want to just jump right into it because some of the things that are going on right now, and that's why I reached out to you, because a lot of business owners, and I deal in technology and the resources for individuals saving money on their technology and their software solutions. And with all those, and that's all great, yet I believe you have to have a great mindset, especially nowadays, of figuring out, all right, you have all these widgets and these things that help me save money and do all these different things, but I'm not in the right mental space right now. So I've reached out to you to say, all right, what should individuals be doing now? And then tell us a little bit about your background and some of the things that folks should start really diving into for the mental aspect of what's going on.
Right. Well, my background comes from a consulting view many years ago. I started with Deloitte & Touche, worked for them for a year, and then went over to IBM Global Services for 2 years. Before that, had a variety of other jobs in the technology and telecommunications side. After Deloitte, or after IBM, excuse me, I started this company called CIO On Demand, which is a technology company. And it kind of morphed, not so much into straight technology solutions, but I, during this time frame, picked up my MBA from Pepperdine and found that I had a good knack for taking a business apart and putting it back together, if you will, and making it fly right. Pardon the joke. So that's a little of my background. For the last 20 years, I've run CIO On Demand. We brought it back from the overseas side of the house, where I had 9 years in the Middle East. Take that same kind of skill set and brought it back in and created Strategic Solutions AZ. Gotcha. And we do business mentoring.
Right.
Somebody once asked me what the difference between a business coach and a business mentor is. Well, a coach tells you what to do or points you in the right direction. The nice thing about being a mentor is you do that, plus you say, don't go down that left road because you're going to fall off the earth. So It tells you what not to do as well.
Right. Yeah, and that's key, because I've talked to a lot of business coaches, and some of them, are good. And then some of them say, here's a couple of things you could do. Hopefully they'll work out for you.
Right. This hopefully doesn't work. In that coaches aren't cheap. It's like when you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, they're not cheap either, but they don't promise. They practice medicine. There's no guarantee in there. But for the most part, we can do this and guide you in such a manner that we're not going to drive you off the side of the earth, if you will.
Right. And that's what I appreciate it about yourself, is you're coming from that mentoring standpoint, and that is, it's more in depth, and some of the things and how you go about your business and then helping business owners. So nowadays with, how things are changing in the world, um, and I know we're going to you have some slides you want to show everyone,
Right.
But before we get into all of that, what are some of the things that you've seen, like some of the three, or one or the three challenges that you've seen that people are having right now, and then we'll transition to some of the slides that you have prepared for everyone who's listening.
Well, the small, medium businesses that are in the States right now, in fact, is globally, are suffering in such a manner that they're questioning whether or not they're even going to open the doors again. When this first started a couple weeks ago, I was hearing, oh, it's going to be 20, 25% of the small businesses are not going to weather this because they don't have enough cash reserves to make it through 30 days without some sort of cash flow coming in. So what the government's doing now in the States, it's almost enough for a 30-day window, if you will. Mm-hmm. So that kind of takes some of the edge off. But in reality, that money is pretty much all gone already. So if you're not in the queue, I question whether or not there'll actually be some there. I heard something come back from some of my associates in the East Coast, and she was saying that some of the naysayers were saying that it was going to be 70% of the small businesses were not going to make it back.
Wow.
That scared the living daylights out of me. I mean, even if 50% don't make it back,
yeah.
How much, the economy of the USA is about 70 or 80% based on small businesses.
Right. Yeah, and if with that much percentage, and then you're thinking all the trickle down effect of all those individuals that they employ.
Exactly.
And then from the employment standpoint, you're looking at the housing and the automobile. It's just a trickle down effect from there.
Oh yeah.
For everything. So
they're not going to buy cars. They're not going to pay the rent. They're going to move in with the parents. Whoops, parents aren't. They haven't got a house anymore either.
Right.
Yeah. It's Reaganomics in reverse.
Exactly. So show us a little bit about some of the things that people should be looking at now as business owners. So yeah, let's jump into your slides.
Well, let me get to that funny slide. Do that one. All right. How's that look?
All right. Perfect.
We're taking off, as they say. All right. Number one rule. Cash is king. Everybody has heard that probably, but it takes, the banks aren't going to loan money. So how is it that a small business will maintain, or generating it we'll get to in a bit, but what have you got right now that's not in your bank? It should be. Account receivable. Someone else has your dollars. They're buying on your credit. You're allowing them to pay you. Here's your product. You can pay me in a month. That is money that is actually yours, but it's in their bank account. Get on the phone and get it back. If they don't give it to you just by asking for it, I need it now, it has to come back now, offer them 2%. A lot of the receivables you'll hear nowadays are in a 2% net 10. That's actually 18% annualized. So a way to induce somebody to give you the money and take a 2% discount, you can actually tell them that, well, if we're offering 2% net 10, you're going to pay me the whole thing in 10 days anyway. When the accountants get through with this, that 2% actually equates out to around 18%. So it makes sense to take advantage of a 2% net 10. Worst case scenario, offer them a 5% COVID special. Get the money back in the house. Absolutely no net 30. If you're selling, do not put them on net 30 terms. Because they're sitting with your money in their back for 30 days. And that ends up doing nobody any good. No non-essential purchasing. No software updates, sorry. No no routine vehicle maintenance, unless it voids your warranty. Yeah, no office lunches. Don't buy everybody's. Just don't spend it unless it's actually earning you $1. If you can cut expenses by $1, that is $1 going to your bottom line. If you've got a 30% return or a 30% gross profit, you have to sell something at almost $4 to get that dollar into your bottom line. So cutting expenses goes direct to the bottom line. Increasing sales and revenues, you have the cost of goods sold, which takes what? Cash. So get as much money as you can out of your receivables. Don't buy anything unless it's absolutely necessary. And let's think of the other side of the house. And this, when you and I were talking earlier, I said this is going to sound a little bit hypocritical, but someone else is funding you. Just like earlier when the 2%, you're going to offer 2% or your receivables. Well, now you're in the house where you've got their money. So hang on to it. If they're not going to offer you a discount, then, if they offer you 210, take it. That's 18% really in your money. Net 30, if they're offering net 30, which I told you not to do, or told the businesses don't do that. If somebody has got those terms, push to 45 days. Keep the cash for the extra 2 weeks. You can think about it this way. The same thing that 2% net 10 equates out to an annualized interest of 18%. Whatever your internal return on investment, your ROI is, times the payment price for 2 weeks for that interest is what you're actually increasing your cash flow by hanging on to it. Now, this is kind of one of those tough things that they're going to scream a little bit, but as long as they don't cut you off or threaten to do so in the future, that's that balancing act that you've got to handle. But if you can do that, do it. I've seen the aviation industry, the Boeings and the McDonnell Douglases. You've got net 30, but they'll push it out to 90 days because they're so big. And they bitch, people bitch, but they're not getting paid. But there's the way they keep a little extra cash flow going. Facility rent and lease. Soothe your landlord's nerves. And what I mean by that, assure them that you'll stay through the end of the lease if they can cut you some slack the next 2 or 3 months, 4 months. We were down at PV Mall, which is one of the, for people that don't know, it's in Scottsdale. It's one of the malls. They've got an In-N-Out burger place there. My wife and I were going to lunch. As we drove in, my wife looks at the building right on the corner and she says, she's just shaking her head. And I said, what's going on? She says, that gym just opened a month ago. And it's closed, just shuttered, just tight. So you don't know whether or not it's going to say, hey, we were on that 30-day, if we can't make cash for 30 days, we're going to die anyway. And I think it just killed us. Or maybe they went to their landlord and said, look, we got a 3-year or a 5-year lease here. We're going to make it. We're going to do it, and we're going to cut me some slack. If it works, it works. If not, you're not better, worse off. So it also will improve your relationship with your landlord, in that you're taking the extra effort to come see them and to make an effort to make this work. Okay, that's kind of everything on the cash is king side. Some simple no-cost strategies to immediately increase sales and profits. In my business, what we've got is the 5-step profit formula. You do that by more leads, more conversions, more transactions, higher prices, or more profits. The fourth one in there says higher prices, and everybody says, I can't do that. I won't show it here, but we've got solid statistics behind it. Okay, in that area, there's 8 strategies that you can pick up. We're going to cover 2 of them. We're going to cover advertising for small businesses and joint ventures. This is one of the tools we use to start with. That's a baseline, and it's called a profit growth calculator. And just for grins, we're going to start off with, can you read that? Any of those? Okay. We're starting out, these are annual numbers. 1,000 annual numbers, or 1,000 annual leads. 25 conversions, so you're 25%. And of that, you get 10 transactions selling for $100 a piece. These are just basic numbers. And it ends up with a bottom line profit of 25%. What happens if you do a minimal 10% increase? Well, that's 100 more leads. That's 9 leads a month. Actually, it's 8.5, I think. If you can convert more of those by 10%, that's only 2.5%. So that's up to 27. 1 extra customer from 10 to 11 for a 10% increase. If you do a $10 increase in price, takes to 110. Guess what? More profits end up with 27.5%. Down here at the bottom, you see 62,500 is what we started with. Over here, just by doing a measly 10% increase, you've now got $40,000 in increase. That's 100,490.50, which ain't bad for just a little 10%. We usually don't deal in 10%. We try and get to 50% for our customers. Can you see that bottom line? You want to tell your watchers what it is?
Wow. $474,187.50.
$500,000. You've taken that $60,000 company and made $500,000. That is doable. Here's the key to successful marketing. You must be able to enter the conversation taking place in the head of your prospects. Or another way to look at it is, every time you have one question at just the right time. The conversation that's taking place has 2 major points. There's a problem they have and they don't want, or there's a result they want, but they don't have. That's as simple as that. We have what we call the conversion equation. Interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. Sounds simple, and for the most part, it is. Interrupt is your headline in your advertising. What catches the attention? The engage is your subheadline. It's the next line down. Educate. Give the consumer or the client knowledge, information, essential to prove that we are better than everybody else. Also called a market dominating position. And the offer must be so compelling and so irresistible, your prospects can't turn it down. Now, because of every day's commercials and advertising, it takes probably 20 to 100 touch points by every time you're seeing Procter & Gamble or you're seeing that yogurt container. Before you actually make the decision to buy it, you're probably going to get hit by about 100 times of watching it go by. By following the conversion equation, we drop that to 5 to 12. By getting their attention with something that makes sense to them, and I've got some pictures here I'll show you here in a minute, that makes sense. Most businesses don't follow up with their prospects at all. You know, that database they have of all their customers, they don't follow up. They're all after what we call the 1% buyers. 90% of all advertising goes after these guys on the right-hand side. This is the buyer's journey. Future buyers, soon-to-be buyers. Doesn't matter when you're talking to them down here on the left-hand side. All of the advertising says, buy me now, buy me now. Don't worry about it, come back. All right. What's the offer in this? This is the similar 99%. That's that 90% of everybody we're talking about. Get your free retirement. Here's my phone number. Fill in the blanks. Give me your life story. Here's another 800 number. Call me now. Every time you hear or see, call me now, what it's actually coming in the back of your head is, sell me something. You're going to try and sell me something. Same thing here, chiropractic and acupuncture. You know, what's the offer? There is no offer here. It's just, call us. We're great, call us. The buyer's journey starts out, why should I buy? You know, that's nice. It's a new blue widget. Why should I buy it? You travel here as it gets down to the soon-to-be buyers. Why shouldn't I buy? It's a good thing for me. Yeah, makes sense. Now let's go back over to here. Who should I buy for? I've transitioned. I've got through this 99%, and I'm now into this little window over here called the 1%ers. Who should I buy from? That's where all the advertising is going at these days. But because you're doing things this way that we're going to show you, you've been started way back here in the minds of all these people with all those touch points. And we're giving information. We're not trying to sell. We're trying to educate them so that they'll move themselves down this right-hand side. Make sense? All right. I can hear your head rattling.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to make sure that I'm on mute because you're giving a lot of great information.
All right. All right. Here is another example. This is a past success for us. Does this look familiar? It's a functional duplicate of the two we just saw.
Nice.
9 things here. I'm a child psychologist, parenting advice resources, Dr. John Smith. 9 things here, blah, 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 blah. Phone number, free consultation, just like everybody else. How about this one?
Nice.
See that top one?
Right, right. The value's right there, right up front.
Interrupt. That was the first one. That conversion equation, interrupt, got your attention. This is the problem they have and don't want. Mm-hmm. Now the next one down. Now you can discover secrets to controlling your child and instantly restore peace. There's the result. Here's the doctor's video script. As you are a parent, I'm not going to read all this, but as a parent, you're struggling, of course. Is your child yelling and screaming at you while often displaying belligerent, sometimes threatening? My name is Dr. John Smith. I help parents like you every day learn techniques that I solve frustration. And in fact, let me prove it to you. Here's the offer. Enter your first name, not last name, an email in the box on the right, and I'll send you a series of 60-second techniques that will immediately restore peace and quiet to your home. That sounds like a gotcha.
Well, I like that, to your back slide, because you're giving them something that is actionable, to the person. It's not like I need to have a consultation with you and we need to schedule it out in the future sometime. No, here's something that you can immediately do before you even talk to me.
And this is the education, this is the benefit, this is the nurturing of a potential client. Put it in here, put your name in, away you go. Mm-hmm. All right. Here are some original sales statistics. You got about 300 leads a month on this. This wasn't bad.
No, it
wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Right.
His average conversion with call was about 10%. So he got 30. Send me the information. I want a free consultation. About 10% of those actually consented to a consultation, and he's a pretty good closer. All 3 became clients. And look down here, represents the typical 1% conversion rate. Okay. This one, oops, still gets 300. There's no magic, but we doubled the interest. 60 people now wanted to talk. Average, we're leaving with the 10% consent to consultation, and he now closed all 6. He hasn't, he's just the same. So now you're down to 10, the same 20%, 10%, but now you've got 6 additional, or 6 patients out of that routine. Average sale, $800.
Wow.
For a monthly consultation, or in this indeed, for the way he does work.
And what I like about this slide, it is showing individuals and business owners and marketing, operations folks, that you can still have the same amount of leads that you had before. So your spend is the same. It's just your message.
The message is everything. Yeah, the message is everything. And some of the other training we've got in the other slides that we sit down as we guide you through the steps moving forward. Those are absolutely right. The message, the timing, it's one of those things. If you tell somebody something long enough, even if it's a bold-faced lie, they'll eventually believe it because they've heard it so many times. Now, nice thing, average sale, $800. That's $2,400 a month increase. Oh, they're saying, wait a minute, 800 times 6, that's 4,800. But you got to remember, we're talking increases to his revenue. He started with 3. Yeah, we'll credit him for 3. He gets to start with 3 on this. 24. How's your calculator? What is that annually?
Wow. What? That's huge.
That's just for doing one thing. Mm-hmm. So, can you understand, or is it believable, I guess is a better thing, of how we got a $60,000 a year customer up to $500,000?
Yeah, that's the beautiful nature of simple math.
Exactly.
But also of, like you're talking about, if you're following specific formulas and tweaking and split testing what works with your messaging, you can still spend, the $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month on your advertising spend and keep that the same, but really focus on what your message is and really nail down to those offers.
It gets down to that conversion equation. Interrupt, find the problem they have and the answer they don't. And it'll work every time. Okay, the other one is on this, joint ventures. Now, this isn't GM and Pontiac getting together, or Goodrich and one of the airline companies. This is 2 or more businesses that decide to form a partnership to share markets. usually under some sort of a revenue share arrangement. The key to creating a successful joint venture for our small businesses is to find partners who service exact same type of clients that need or want what you sell. On this one, we're talking about, this is the easiest one to point out, the wedding industry. We're going to talk about being a florist. Okay, there's a jeweler, you know, the engagement ring comes, guy buys that, and all of a sudden, guess what happens? It falls into place. The wedding present, the chapel, the reception, wedding dress, florist, wedding cake, printers. You could go down into what falls below it, where they're going on the honeymoon. You know, any travel agent type stuff. Okay, everybody above the florist is in an ideal position to refer business to the florist. Everybody below the florist is in an ideal position, perfectly positioned to receive referrals from the florist. Okay. Could the florist obtain one referral each month, from just one of the businesses above? Next, could the florist send one referral down chain? Well, if you go up chain, it says the average sales price for the florist wedding flowers is $3,000. We just said something, you know, keeping this ultra conservative, one per month.
Right.
Okay, so she's working making glad handing, doing the networking. Hey, here's some flowers for your front office. Right. You know, whatever it takes. Okay, she's nurturing that chain. That's $36,000 a year.
And that's huge. And that's just building those relationships.
That's building the relationships and getting the referrals. But that's just one per month.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like I'm on my door every day saying, hey, I need another client. I need another client. Send me more. Send me more.
Right.
Hey, thank you very much. You know, and like I said, here's another bouquet for your front desk. Or when is your wife's birthday? You know, we'll send her a dozen roses free of charge. You know, something like that. Something that the roses would probably get thrown out anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, it sure makes brownie points for whoever you send them to. You know, things like that. Okay, if the average sales price for a wedding cake is also $3,000, the florist receives a 10% referral fee. Then there's an annual of $3,600. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Oh, wedding cakes. We're going down the chain now.
Right.
Okay. So $3,000 per wedding cake. Well, going down, remember we said there was a mutual agreement, revenue sharing? Say it's only 10%. And I'm going to give you a lead for a cake. It's $3,000. I get $300 of it. Not a problem. So there's one a month on that. Guess what? That's $3,600 just for passing it along. Now printing, $1,000, 10% again. That's an extra $1,200. All these little tiny increments are what improve your cash flow. It improves your revenue. And it gives you about $41,000 in annual revenue. Just based on that. Right. And I like this line right here. Ultra conservative numbers.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's because it's showing, it's just one. It's how well you are building that relationship, and then, you know, how large is that chapel? Or that, you know, there could be, of course, more than just one per month. But if you're looking at it that way, that should really get an owner, an entrepreneur out of their comfort zone and get out and start making those relationships no matter what, right?
Absolutely. Networking is everything as far as developing, your sales channels, your joint ventures, whether it's the Chamber of Commerce, the BNI events, picking up the phone. I laugh every time I do this because I am guilty of the same thing. When you sit down and you're ready to make a phone call, did you realize that phone used to be the old pick up the phone bit? This phone now weighs 2,000 pounds.
Ah, because all the information.
This is all, well, no, this is the 2,000-pound phone. I can't move it.
Yeah, right.
I can't pick it up. Oh, what am I gonna do?
Right. It's like, oh,
it's just
no.
getting off. It's getting off your rear end and just picking it up and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna call 100 people and introduce myself." And of course, before you do this, you've really got to have it down pat as to what you're trying to accomplish. So I'm going to call these 100 people. I've got a predetermined idea and a concept. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to the wedding dress people, the reception venue, the church, all of these people. You've got a reason why they should do business with you, because you're going to make sure that your floral arrangements are the best they've ever seen. And that's going to be, even though it's just the florist, who put it together? The wedding planner. Ah, Julie. I'm getting married next week. Who did your lovely, arrangements? Oh, the wedding planner so-and-so did. She may not remember the florist name.
Right.
She might, so that's a direct connect there. But all of that, if you provide superior service, superior product, you get remembered.
Exactly. And I think that, showing this example and then when working with folks, making this thing a little bit lighter than the 2,000 pounds. It's like, no, this is not 2,000 pounds. This is like $40,000.
This is your best friend.
There, waiting for you to just take advantage of it.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, this is the other one. It says 5 things every bride should know to avoid. This is kind of an informational packet that you could send out to all your clients that would kind of help solidify your relationship on any of your clients moving forward, either in the value chain or in an actual direct client. Okay. Remember this one?
Yep.
Okay, 28,000 annual. He had 300 leads. And this gets back to what I said earlier about nobody follows up. 60 opt-ins. We got that from the other screen. And okay, down at the bottom, he got 6 clients at the bottom. That means that 54 prospects did not engage. Those 54 go back in next month. And then we're just going to drip it through, drip nurturing. Out of that, we get 2. So this is reducing returns here. It's not working quite right.
Right.
But you didn't do anything for this. Right. This is the 54 that's in the database that gets entered in and automatically funnels back through. So that process is there, and every month it cranks down and 2 more come out. Think of it this way. This is what it looks like over a year. The 54 turns into 52, turns into 50, 48, 46, 44. But guess what? You're still getting the original out of every month. So this is what it does. The problem with this, and there's a good side and a downside to everything. Though that sequence works. 3,600 prospects. At the end of the first year, the squeeze page generated initial 72 clients in 12 months. Drip can do 156 new clients that would never have converted without it.
Mm.
Well, okay, 72, that's 228. Looks good. All right, so by month 12, he's getting 30 new patients every month. Anybody see a problem?
Yeah, how's it going to handle all that?
Bingo.
Wow, there you go.
Logistics are everything. I mean, it sounds good, but depending upon the business, and the same strategy works with any business, it's just targeting the right markets.
Mm-hmm.
If you get into this situation, it's open a new branch. It's open 2 new branches. Okay? You're generating a heck of a lot of cash flow because of the original buildup. Have you put enough money away that you can rent something and build it out, without going into debt to do it? Does it make sense to bring on another partner? Has your current facility, have you got another 2 or 3 exam rooms that are lying dormant? Bring in a partner or bring in a new employee. So logistics are where everything is going at this point. What happened here was he turned it off.
Oh, wow.
He says, I can't, it's still doing it.
Excuse me. You're fine.
There's one for the edits.
Yeah.
This one, you can turn it off and turn it back on. The logic is always there. The other thing is you could start referring out to other agencies, to other people, or to other psychiatrists. Okay? So we just saw that little tiny increments got you anywhere from 20,000 to 40,000 in revenue. What will your revenue, thinking of your numbers, and this is the question to all of our viewers, what will your revenue look like when you get to 50% increases? Mm-hmm. Are you ready to move into that $500,000? Or if you're at $500,000, are you ready to hit 2 million? And in what time frame? When you exercise 2 of these 8 that we talked about, you just created the beginning of a system for your business. And Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, and you don't get hit by a truck.
Right.
If you've got a system, consistent large number of leads, conversions, ongoing basis, then it doesn't rely on you doing it. Mm-hmm. Which also means that if you're self-sustaining, you don't have to be there. If you're thinking long-term and you're at an age like I am, that I enjoy doing what I'm doing. That's why, I retired in 2001. So this is doing it because I like it.
Right.
For those that are not fortunate enough to be in that position, but are building a business and they want to retire someday, this is what's going to allow it to happen. The system and consistency and self-sustaining. Policies and procedures will be in place when it works. So not only economic freedom, but freedom of time. And I don't know about you, but my time is worth a whole lot more than the money.
Yes. Nowadays, it's like, we have this time, and then it's like, what are we doing with it? And nurturing with their family members, or, connecting with other individuals.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, right now, if you're in a position where you can hang on to your employees, please do so. Even if you do the same thing with your employees that you did with your landlord, and saying, okay, everybody knows that we can either close the doors and everybody goes home and doesn't get paid, or everybody can work on half wages for the next 3 months and you'll have something coming in. At least you're trying to stretch into your where you should be ethically, in my point of view. This is your family. even though it's, they go home to a different house at night. It's important that everybody takes care of everybody at this point in time. So.
Totally agree. No.
Did you want to talk about this?
Oh yeah, a little surprise. Yeah. Well, I love little surprises. What you got for us?
All right. You and I have worked on something that will be a benefit to your clients. And it's for taking the time to have me on today. We're going to have the COVID recovery bundle. Okay. It is the customer input. It's going to be an audit document that I'll send to you, to the clients, potential clients. It's going to take them about 2 to 3 hours to put all the fields in, do the research, whatever it takes to put the numbers in place. Every one of these that I've done on a full audit like this, it's been a definite eye-opener for any of the businesses that I've dealt with. There's one of these, a couple of them have come up and said, I didn't know, and fill in the blank. Mm-hmm. I didn't know about such and such. I didn't know that we were spending so much money on this. Or, I can't believe we're giving it away. That kind of thing. So it'll take them that. They'll send it back to me. Then they'll be entitled to a 1-hour virtual mentoring call with me. We'll get on into Zoom, do exactly what we're doing here, and we'll do the review with the profit analysis software 2.0. And that'll go through everything that they've just given to me in that form. I will take the time, analyze it, put it in the software, and then talk with them and review it. It'll identify a key to-do list for them to achieve their goals. It'll also get it's in a PDF format, a professional roadmap report. What are out of those strategies, primarily the 8 strategies, and there's thousands more we have. Mm-hmm. Of those 8, what makes sense to do in what order to get you the optimal, a lot of the questions we'll go through are what's missing in the way you do business. Wow. Okay, so once that's all in place, it's all put in the computer and comes out. Normal price on that, I charge $2,000. As you and I've come to an understanding on this, you're going to cover this for them. Yep. And so their cost on this is absolutely free. You're picking it up.
Yeah, no, it's the value of individuals is just showing, folks, as you're listening through everything that we just talked about with Steve, I want to make sure that you're connecting with the right type of individuals who have that kind of that mentoring and consultative heart. Not a sales this type of person. You're not going to get any of that with the folks that who are on my team and my partnerships. And Steve, I want to thank you for helping out just all the clients that I have, and then the referrals that I send over to you. Just do a great job. So thank you so much. And folks,
I appreciate it.
That we're going to make sure we're going to connect and get a lot of those.
Okay, we'll come back on here.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Thank you. It's all right. It's making sure that we're going to be able to help businesses out during this time, because the situation is that this will happen again. This is not this is like a long the COVID-19 is something for a once in a lifetime thing, but the economy goes up, it goes down. There's always issues and challenges and problems from one aspect to another. So now's the time to really focus in getting prepared for what's coming next in your life, because you might have to cut expenses, but you don't have to cut dreams. And
exactly.
That's what this opportunity that, my partnership with Steve, and I'm taking care of the things for good folks who subscribe and make sure that they want some great information. We're going to give you that value. So Steve, thank you so much for your time today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody. And I look forward to seeing everybody soon.
All right. Wonderful.
Take care.
All right.